Well, hello. Thank you so much for being me today. Today is a very special day for me. The privilege of having a guest, Sean Hughes, who's Regional Vice President at Foresters Financial. Thank you so much for being me today, Sean.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Mark.
I really appreciate that. And today we're going to talk about life insurance. And before we get into life insurance, I'd like to just help our viewers understand Foresters Financial. Can you tell us just a little bit about Foresters Financial so they understand who you are, what you do, maybe the company depth and size, just so they can appreciate a little bit more there?
Yeah, Foresters Financial, we're a very unique life insurance provider in Canada because we're structured as a fraternal organization.
Yeah.
We've actually been around for since 1874.
Okay.
And from a financially sound standpoint, we've been rated A plus by AM Best for the last 15 years. We have well over $2 billion in assets. So we have the stability and the longevity to sort of back up any claims, which is nice.
Well, there's some deep pockets. That's
Very
pretty
much
good.
so.
Yeah, no, that's good to know that. Listen, so talk about life insurance just for a minute. What would be reasons why a person would want to get personal life insurance for themselves? Just help us understand that.
Okay, I think it's pretty important to make sure when you're looking at various types of insurance strategies is that you deal with a professional such as Mark who can look at it from a holistic standpoint.
Yeah.
There are three main topics or sort of concepts that are really relevant to insurance, and that is around A, creating the estate.
Mm-hmm.
You want to preserve the wealth that you've also created. And last but not least, you want to effectively transfer that wealth to not only your generation, but maybe to your the next generation as well.
Okay, well that's good. So if we look at the first thing that you mentioned there, create the estate. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that, just to help the viewers understand what you mean by that?
Sure. So if you're working for say 30 or 40 years of your life, you accumulate various types of assets. That could be your house, could be your car, other types of assets, whether it be investment strategies, mutual funds. Those are all assets that you're creating. So if you do happen to pass away, what happens is that wealth then gets transferred onto either your estate or your spouse. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about creating estate. So with an insurance strategy, it's very cost effective. So for pennies on the dollar, you can become a millionaire, and all it takes is one monthly premium.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, the second thing you mentioned was this concept of preserved wealth. And I like that concept. I think it's an important concept that people need to understand. What do you mean when you say preserved wealth concerning using life insurance for that purpose?
I think it's extremely important for any investment individual to make sure that all the wealth that they had been able to accumulate through investments or assets is that you have the opportunity to preserve it. You work so hard, like I said, 30 or 40 years of your life. You want to make sure that those assets can then be maintained. Mm-hmm. And with an insurance strategy, you can basically double your estate.
Yeah.
And it's not really going to cost you that much. And that's where I said it's important to deal with an advisor such as yourself. And you can show your clients on how to maximize their wealth with insurance-based strategies.
That's right. And thirdly, which is also very important, you talked about effectively transfer wealth to the next generation or transfer it to your family. Let's help us understand this concept a bit better.
Yeah, there's lots of different, terminology that's in the marketplace. Intergenerational wealth transfer strategies could be something that's sort of kicked around.
Yeah.
But essentially, what is that? Is that you've worked hard to create an estate. You've been able to preserve that estate through your insurance. But your insurance strategy then can effectively transfer that wealth onto the next generation. When I say tax effectively, Revenue Canada obviously wants to have their fair share of the pie with regards to taxes. Yeah. And insurance is a tax-free influx of cash into the estate or to a named beneficiary, which is nice. And keep in mind, if you don't have a family and you want to maintain that wealth and transfer it onto a charity, again, totally up to you. Yeah. It's very flexible in who you can name as your beneficiary.
Well, that's good to know. Now, before we go, I have access to many insurance companies, but there's one thing, there's some unique aspects about Foresters Financial. Maybe you could just share with us concerning the member benefits, because when people get a life insurance policy, they just get life death benefit. But help us understand what additional benefits people would get if they got a Foresters Financial life insurance policy.
Yeah, so with any insurance strategy that you have with Foresters, it's the life insured that becomes the member. And with a membership, you do have a lot of these additional value adds that you can bring to the table.
Yeah.
They can be broken down into two main topics.
Yeah.
First is financial,
Yeah.
and the second is fun. So I'll give you one example of a financial benefit.
Yeah.
For anybody who has kids
Mhm.
and wants their kids to go on to post-secondary school,
Yeah.
we all know that it costs a lot of money to go to college
Absolutely.
universities these days.
Yeah.
So with Foresters, members now have access to what we call the competitive scholarship program.
Okay.
And that gives kids access to up to $8,000.
That's very good.
And it's paid $2,000 over 4 years. So if you can partner with a carrier to not only get a great, effective insurance strategy in place, but also give your clients the
Yeah.
options to potentially receive $8,000 to help out with college and university,
Yeah.
that's a huge value add. The second one I'll talk about is the fun aspect.
Mhm.
I know with our member benefits, we allow and encourage families to spend some quality time together.
Good.
And you can do that either through volunteering experiences or from fun family events.
Yeah.
So getting free tickets to, say, sporting, theater tickets, all of those aspects are an additional value add that
Yeah.
you, the advisor, bring to the table when
Yeah.
you partner with Foresters Financial.
Wow, that's good. I like the fun, emphasis on the fun there. But thank you so much, Sean, for your time. I really value that. I appreciate you sharing with the audience here. And listen, thank you for being with us today. And I just want to say, feel free to subscribe, click the bell for notifications. And if you have any questions on life insurance or Foresters, my contact information is below. Feel free to reach out. Listen, have a great day, and thank you for being with me today.